15 seconds?
Yes.
The official clock.
That's not the official clock. The
Because then I'll
Oh.
just.
camera's on.
The
It's
TV,
time.
the TV guys.
So now call to order the special meeting of the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Oshkosh, May 6, 2019. Can we please take the roll?
Tom Belter,
Here?
Jack Birmingham,
Here.
Steve Hintz,
Here.
Jason Lasky, Sue Ponick,
Here.
Archie Stam,
Here.
Lori Palmieri.
Here. So first off is appointment of the chair for this redevelopment authority, and council did approve the appointment of myself, Lori Palmieri, on April 23rd. And so with that, I don't believe we have any further, but I appreciate you having me here.
Welcome. Yeah.
Great, get to know all of you. And second on that is the election of the vice chairman for this board. We'll have to open that up for nominations.
Nominate Tom Belter.
Second.
Any further nominations? Any discussion? All right. And this would be a voice vote as well, or call roll?
You can do it by just voice vote because you only have one nomination. So
Secret ballot.
all in favor?
All right, so all in favor?
Oh, I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes,
Is it just 1 year? I don't know these things.
the
I'm
vice
new.
chairman?
2 year, I
2 year?
think. Tom.
Okay. 2 year?
Our bylaws say annual meeting, so it
I don't-
implies annually.
Just want you to know what you're getting into.
Yep.
Well, I didn't
he's still-
campaign very hard this.
That's it.
So is everybody clear it's a 1 year? Is there any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is consent for approval of minutes from March 20th, 2019.
I'll move approval.
Second?
Any discussion on that? Right?
Andrew does a good job.
I'll be voting present since I wasn't here. All right, and then we'll also call a voice vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Present, Lori Palmieri. New business. 19-10, award bid to EnviroNet Inc. for asbestos abatement at 421 Monroe Street for community development, $4,755. Take a motion on that.
I'll move approval of motion 19-10.
Any public comment? Seeing none.
Seem to be a lot of bids or and a wide range of bids. Do we know these people? Have they worked with us before? Say these people, but
I don't remember them off the top of my head. Ms. Brandt, have they worked for the RDA in the past?
Not for the RDA, but they have done work for the city before.
Okay. So they have all the insurance and,
Oh,
okay.
they all have to have that.
And it looks like they're local as well. So that pre-qualification column indicates that they've met all of the conditions.
Yes.
For bidding.
Is there a reason why there's such a huge swing between the bids?
No, it's just how companies bid.
Greed,
Yeah, great.
high overhead, huh?
Distance to travel.
I was just looking, the higher ones seem to be from a distance, like Milwaukee, Elkhorn. The more local ones seem to be more in line with that.
They probably have more expensive disposal requirements, possibly.
But even that one from Oshkosh is almost, more than 5,000 over.
Is there any further discussion on 19-10? Can we please take the roll?
Hintz,
Aye.
Ponick,
Aye.
Stam,
Aye.
Belter,
Aye.
Birmingham,
Aye.
Palmieri.
Aye.
Motion carried 6-0.
Next is 19-11, determination of necessity, establish fair market value, authorized purchase, vacant parcel adjacent to Pioneer Drive and Canadian National Railroad tracks between 6th and 10th Avenue, $1,500,000. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
Any public comment? Seeing none in the room. Any discussion?
Well, it's a lot of money, but there are two things that are operating. One is that the only way that we're really going to get that property sold down here is to add the land to it. And secondly, is probably the only thing that's going to move the old Pioneer property in the long haul. Because otherwise, I think things are just going to sit on both pieces of property for a long time.
I do have good news to relate. I'm not sure you picked it up in my memo. That Pioneer Drive that we've been dealing with the CN on, they did sign over their quitclaim deed so that the city has all ownership rights to that. So we're proceeding with the River Walk as planned.
Great.
Good, that is
Yeah.
good.
When I do the math, it looks like we have 4.3 million invested, plus maybe the 900,000 or so for Luke's, plus environmental, for a total of less than 10 acres. So we're at $12, $15 a foot plus environmental remediation. So do we have any, how do we recapture our multi-million-dollar investment?
Depends on how much the city/RDA is willing to take when we package this together and put out requests for proposals for this. Part of that will factor into the purchase price as well as any other remediation we have to do on that site, because there's a lot of fill on that site, so there's some geotechnical work that will need to be done, and there'll be some environmental remediation.
How much of that do we know at this point? This is private.
Just part of it, because we haven't been on the private properties yet to fully explore all that. I can tell you that what we've done this spring on RDA property is very similar to the urban fill that we've had from Main Street east of the water, where the arena went from about 2 feet to 8 feet deep of urban fill. And like
It's a nice word.
Yep.
Urban fill,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, would you please define urban fill?
concrete.
That's a word that I noticed all the environmental assessors use, so I just parrot it out. The one thing that they have tested positive for at this point, I believe, is arsenic, which we found on the arena site as well that we had to remediate.
Certainly, there was no tolerance in the offer to have the seller give us a clean site.
That would be correct.
We were accepting any environmental issues.
That was a condition.
But our buyers will want a clean site.
Yes, and we've had that conversation with Wisconsin DNR as to what it would take to do that. So we have an expectation we'll go through a phase 1 and phase 2 so that we can include all the potential chemicals that we need on the VPLE program, including PFAS.
Really, it's a moot point. To Steve's point, we need to buy it, assemble it, figure out what environmental challenges we have, delineate them, cost them out, and then see how we market the parcel, whether it's multiple pieces or a big piece, so.
Correct. And it could be just north of 8th, it could be north of 9th, it could be everything wrapping all the way to 10th Avenue.
We do riverfront now with Riverwalk exposure and.
Yes, that is correct. That was I think I put that in the memo. That was the one point we heard from just about everybody who was interested in the proposal we asked for last year regarding 43 East 7th, that they were very reluctant to do anything until they knew exactly how everything was going to work between them and the river. And now we have the property at the Pioneer Drive, and potentially we could have this Pioneer Decades property. So everything would be packaged together.
Well, that was the original recommendation from the LDR proposal to do riverfront residential all the way down to the track, so.
Correct, and I would say the South Shore Redevelopment District, when it was contemplated back in 2003 or 4, included all that area as well.
And then, Alan, would you also want to mention, it looks like there's some progress on that diamond-shaped piece owned by WPS?
Yes. WPS tells us that That was a location for, I'd call it a riser for an under river electrical connection that used to be there. They took that out of service in the last year, so they don't really need that diamond for that purpose. We've been working both with their operations side and their real estate side to acquire that diamond piece. We've had some conversations, and the pluses, they've expressed interest in some other city-owned land in other parts of the city regarding some expansions they need, so we're hoping to be able to swap land for land and not actually cost anybody any money to do that diamond piece.
Ellen, is there a risk in doing this deal ahead of that piece being committed to?
Diamond piece?
Yep. And because is there any reason why we'd want to wait until this package comes together with these two parcels, having a commitment for the sale? Because what I worry about is, once we take a commitment to own the big sliver, WPS can charge you whatever they want.
That is a concern that staff has explored as well. We're trying to figure out a way to design things, the worst-case scenario, we don't get that diamond piece, whether we swing 9th Avenue North or extend utilities in a different way. But the upshot would be, we only have one opportunity now for decades property, and we haven't had that opportunity in the last decade, strangely enough.
Did they put a time frame on this? Does this expire at a certain date?
I wouldn't describe it as a time frame. There's a drop-dead date, but I'm led to believe that it's been quite a negotiation process to get to this point. So we have a window that's open right now, and we don't know when that window will close.
What's the drop dead date?
I think we're trying to close in June.
And then, Alan, would you like to talk a little bit too about the fiscal impact, or the funding sources?
Yes, the city staff, specifically Finance Director Trina Larson, she's looked at a number of different funding sources that could be used here, from TIF funds to CIP funds to general fund. At this point in time, her most recent thought is that we'd be using some general fund balance and some South Shore and CIP allocations from our 2019 CIP. Some of that would come from specifically the property improvements in TID 20. Some of it would come from the scattered sites that we recently created to acquire blighted properties outside the TIF districts. That would take 200,000 from each scattered site, 200 from the CIP, and 1.1 from the general fund.
Can you remind me what a CIP is?
A capital improvement program. Cities kind of laid out what they want to borrow or what capital projects they want to spend on a year. Sometimes they borrow that money, and sometimes they don't borrow that money, they just fund it out of their budget, the levy.
But that was budgeted in September before we knew we were going to spend it in May. So what aren't we spending money on that we thought we were going to spend money on in September?
There could be other properties in TIF 20 that we won't have an opportunity to acquire and demolish now, as well as other neighborhoods, scattered sites around the city. We budgeted 300, and we'd be using 2/3 of that for this purchase. So that'd only leave us 100,000 for the rest of the city for the rest of the year.
That's this purchase. There was mention of another purchase potentially coming after this, which would be Lewick's, correct?
Whoops, yeah, we need 900 for that.
So where
Where's
do
that?
those dollars come from?
At this point in time, we haven't gotten to that point. My expectation is that CIP TIF dollars for TIF 20 also includes a substantial amount of money for remediation, and that's part of the remediation question that I'd have to figure out between now and that time as to, are we going to be paying for remediation, or is the buyer going to be paying for remediation?
Plus demo too.
So if the
Yes.
RDA moves forward with these two properties this year, does the RDA have any dry powder left for any neighborhood improvement?
We still have the $100,000 that we have in CIP funds, and we still have block grant funds available.
So none of those sources will be used in addition to the Lewick's purchase as well, correct?
Block grant we wouldn't use for sure. We could use the $100,000 for scattered site, but I don't think that was on our list of possibilities at this point.
Is this in a TIF? I forgot.
It's in TIF 20, yes.
Does that go all the way down to the?
That goes from Pioneer all the way to Boatworks, and it goes south to about 9th Avenue, so it,
Any further discussion? Seeing none, will we please take the roll?
Hints,
Aye.
Lasky,
Aye.
Onick,
Aye.
Stam,
Aye.
Belter,
Aye.
Birmingham,
Aye.
Palmieri.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
And at this point, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Nobody wants to go. Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.